5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prano.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Yeah, it is.
It is 1:07 p.m.
I mean, again, I said this yesterday during our Twitch stream. It's this is quarantine morning. 4 p.m. is the new noon. That's what I've come up with.
Really?
Quarantine has pushed everything 4 hours. Think about it.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Like, at this point, 4 is now noon. Like, what's a normal, like, if you were like, I've got some stuff to do tomorrow, I'm going to try to be in bed by
2 a.m.
That's now or that's
Currently.
currently. Exactly. Right? If you were trying to, I would say 11 p.m. if I put pre-quarantine. I got stuff to do tomorrow. I'm going to lay down, start calling it a night, maybe put on a movie to start going to bed 11 p.m. Now it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
By the way, Bilbo, let me just speak for him.
Yeah, Bilbo's not,
Bilbo was already a 2 a.m. guy, so let's just keep this real for a minute. Maybe 2 a.m. for you and I.
The entire world has shifted to my schedule.
How much sleep?
Bent to my demands.
How much sleep do you need, by the way? I want to discuss this real quick. How much sleep do you need?
I mean, like 5 hours at least.
5? Bro, you and I have been doing this thing for like 2.5 months. I'd say you need 10 to 12. I got to tell you, everybody, what Bilbo did last night. This is an all-time Bilbo moment. So he racks out kind of early, about 1 p.m. We watched the latest episode of Dave. He hated it, by the way.
Yeah, that's a weak episode of Dave.
Yeah, not the best.
I mean, if you're going to make a show and call it Dave, at least have Dave be the main guy.
I agree. That and I like the producer character, but
Yeah.
putting a whole episode around him was, especially after 2 hella strong episodes, I was like, wow, this show has hit a new level. Starts out kind of funny, kind of good. Episodes, I believe it was 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 were like, whoa, and then just totally dropped the ball.
By the way, I'm into the Asian girl. I told him that a couple weeks ago, even before this. So I didn't dislike it as much. I'm into her. I kind of like her personality. I'm attracted to her. Anyway, we don't want to get too far into that. I got to tell you what Bilbo did. We watched Dave. We put on the Mark Twain, Dave Chappelle, the Kennedy Center honors.
Yeah.
He racks out really early. I was impressed. I mean, Bilbo was out cold by 1 o'clock. I hop in bed. I watch a little Netflix on my iPad. I wake up at about 4 p.m. We wake up,
4 a.m.
4 a.m. We wake up at about the same time. I said, I really got to pee. I go in to pee. Bilbo stands up from the couch. I walk out of the bathroom. He's at the fridge. He pulls out a big thing of cheese sticks from Trader Joe's. He goes, want one? I go, it's 4 a.m., dude. I'm going right back to sleep. He eats a cheese stick, and then he goes to sleep. What kind of animal wakes up at 4 a.m.?
You should hang out with my girlfriend. She gets up in the morning. We'll go to the fridge, come back with cheese.
Yeah.
Lay it by me, eat some cheese, go back to bed.
Yeah. It's a nice little snack to have.
And then you go back to sleep with that in your mouth, and
Well,
it's so bad for your teeth.
You have a
I
little
don't
bit of
think cheese is
water.
bad
You
for your
wash
teeth,
it
is it?
down.
I don't think cheese is bad for your
No.
teeth.
You
It's
d-
dairy.
You don't want to eat anything and then go to sleep for
What's
your
wrong
teeth.
What's wrong with cheese?
It's a weird move, Bilbo, at 4
No, it's a
a.m.
hella weird move. It just doesn't have anything to do with the dental care.
You don't
I'll
have
shove
a
it.
you don't have a little itch for some dairy late
I mean,
night.
just like that dairyness in your mouth and you go back to sleep. I feel like you'd wake up and you'd have grown more cheese.
A 4 a.m. cheese stick. If that
I've been doing this for a while too. Like if we go back to like old family videos, there's an old family video that my dad took of me like on the ground of the kitchen floor with some like craft singles. I've been doing this for a while.
the man likes cheese.
We have like a weird trend happening in like the producer booth. Like our Bilbo twerks. I mean, Shabelli looks like he eat like some cheese. You know what I mean? Like I like these guys just eating just cheese direct. Twerks pizza for Twerks is just a pile of cheese. Bilbo's eating cheese sticks. Shabelli looks like he makes his own homemade burrata.
It really is fascinating.
Yeah.
This consumption of cheese between the guys who've been sitting at the desk the last few years.
EJ's making, chili con queso.
Well, I might as well just get it out of the way. We're talking about Bilbo. I do have some somewhat somber news, but also just realistic news. Bilbo will be leaving us for a minute.
I will remember you. This isn't goodbye. It's just see you later.
Yeah.
That's what they say, because we're sending Bilbo. Basically, we're
I'm getting bumped down to the G League.
yeah. You go, yeah, exactly. Sending them back to the G League. Isn't there a Grand Rapids G League team?
Yeah, the Grand Rapids Drive.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Is that a Pistons like minor leagues
Correct.
team? That's great.
I have their T-shirt.
Well, we brought Bilbo here, and you know, I gotta say the strongest statement that Nick made while he was here was like, "You guys got to get off the couch. You gotta get off the couch, doing stuff." You know, sadly, when Bilbo arrived, it was just after. Well, actually, literally days before the knee accident. But you guys were getting off the couch, doing the Costco vids, all that. We're now looking at quarantine for God knows how long. So we're gonna let him go eat cheese sticks at his parents' house, and then we're gonna give him the call back up to the majors when rosters expand again.
Yeah. So basically, to kind of sum up what Joe was saying, and Nick knows this, we're working with just limited options. One, and the truth is also financially, we're a lot more strapped. We've lost some sponsors because of the pandemic.
Basically, you guys are just roommates now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Twitch gamers.
Yeah.
For the next couple of days.
True. Yeah. So Nick has killed it, and I want everybody to know that. So any Nick haters out there, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna use that language.
I'm gonna go even one step further, and I did not clear this, but Nick, for the DirtBalls who appreciate everything that you have done in the months that you've been here, why don't you give us your Venmo handle? You know, just in case anybody wants to throw Nick a little thust bone.
Yeah.
For all the stuff that he's done since he's been here.
All right. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's NickDale27
NickDale27
on Venmo.
Kid's gonna spend it exclusively on cheese sticks. So if you appreciate some of the videos, some of the content, all the work that he's done, this is also
and the Twitch channel, which he created,
the Twitch channel,
the design, everything has been all Nick.
Any thusting toward NickDale27 on Venmo will be used on either cheese sticks or his eventual return, his flight back, his gas back, his down payment on some rent.
Turn of the Dale.
Because Nick. And I'm going to force Nick to make his own video of him as Terminator saying he'll be back.
I've been back.
So, yeah, we're looking at maybe just a couple months. And obviously, this wasn't an easy decision. But like Joe said, Nick's great line to me when he came here was, we need to get off the couch and do content, whether that was Costco.
And the government was like, not so fast.
Yeah. The Venice Beach 3-point contest.
Oh, look at that. We already got Venmo's rolling in from Joe. Oh, from you, Joe.
I didn't do that.
No, we got another Joe.
There are more than one person named
Turned
Joe.
down for never. Thanks, Joe.
So basically, this is the last episode with Nick for a minute, but I have a feeling it could be 6 to 8 weeks. Like, it might not be as long as we think. I'm hoping. Get Nick back here, and he also needs Venmo because his poor parents are dealing with satellite internet, which I still don't understand what that is.
I have to call him today.
Who are you calling today?
I'm calling Mishwave, which is the satellite internet provider of Western Michigan.
Explain what satellite internet is.
It's like satellite TV, but internet.
Yeah. You know, usually internet is
a line.
It's a line. It's like a fiber optic cable. We don't have the cable. We have a satellite.
Your parents live in an area where they haven't run cable yet.
Yeah, we are very rural because we moved to an area in what's called Caledonia, about 15 minutes south of Grand Rapids, and we don't have a lot of cable, a lot of new technology, so we have to innovate, do some other things.
Are you on a big plot of land?
Yeah.
How many acres?
I don't know. It's a good question. There's a lot of acres. There's gonna be a small airport in our backyard in like the next couple of years.
Wow.
Like, you're doing that so you can fly to and from L.A.?
No, there's just some dude who wants to have a
personal airport.
Personal airport, so he can do like his little flight shows or something like that. Yeah.
I think maybe
Now, Grand Rapids is a city-ish,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know, as far as the Midwest goes.
Second biggest city in Michigan.
15 minutes south of that city, they don't have fucking wires.
Yeah.
quality of life.
15 minutes south of here is LAX.
Yeah.
I feel like we need a quality of life off.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have normal internet. We have crackheads pooping on the street. Like, you could do a back and forth between where we live. Like, we have the ocean. He's got peace and quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It is peace and quiet. It's very nice in the summertime. We're by a lake. Go out.
He's
bring
not going to need a
kayaks.
cricket loop. He's going to have his own crickets, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Nick will be here until Sunday, and then
Yeah.
he's flying his own private jet probably via United.
So we've streamed every day this week on Twitch, and I think we're going to continue that up until I leave.
Yeah, we are. I might need Joe to come back and help me out. Although Joe's game on NBA Jam with Dirk is strong.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Dirk was my boy. Every game like of that ilk, you know, I find a guy and it's just we're gonna go. I played you with the Heat first last night. I went because this is apparently 2011 rosters.
Yeah.
So it was LeBron and Wade. Seemed crazy not to use LeBron. So I gave LeBron a shot. But then I realized, you know, basically on NBA Jam, everybody's gonna dunk. Like, I mean, Steve Nash is throwing down, you know, tomahawks. So if everybody's going to dunk, really the next level, you know, I just went full Mike D'Antoni. 3 is greater than 2. What if I find a guy who can can threes? And then it was like, well, do I use 2011 Steph, whatever? And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I go Dirk, big tall guy, and get the shots off. Blocks come fairly often in NBA Jam as well. Get a tall guy. And, I mean, just game one, just hit my stride. Found that hash mark. Plus the short corner. Every corner is a short corner when Dirk Nowitzki's in it. Just can't. I mean, multiple 60-point Dirk performances.
Unstoppable.
Loved it. I love Dirk. I'm
Yeah.
such a big Dirk fan.
Well, that's a good segue into what's going on in the NBA, Joe. Something that I think is very lame, and they really couldn't have missed the mark anymore from this idea. The NBA and ESPN plan to televise a horse competition. Among those expected to participate are Chris Paul, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, and WNBA players with some former NBA alumni.
Now, why do you feel like they've missed the mark?
Because I think you need better players. Like, I don't mind Trae Young. I don't mind Chris Paul. I mean, even Zach LaVine. But, like, again, we're trying to include everybody.
Yeah, I mean.
The WNBA thing, like, this whole – look, this boils down to what people care about. And I know every idiot, equal opportunity person is going to get offended with what I'm about to say. The facts are this. No one cares about the WNBA. The numbers don't lie, the viewership doesn't lie, and the attendance doesn't lie. No one cares. So stop trying to whore this out and push this in front of us. We don't need WNBA players in the competition. This has nothing to do with gender. It has everything to do with no one cares. And those are the facts.
Now, don't you think that there's a little bit of interest in the just WNBA players? Because this isn't like a physical competition. So the idea that, oh, well, you know, they can't jump as high, run as fast as the men, but like, oh, maybe they can shoot. Aren't you sort of excited to just see them get boat raced in a horse thing? Like, just put the nail in this coffin once and for all? Like, yeah, even if there were no physical limitations, you're still going to lose. Like, I just don't see Trae Young losing to a WNBA player, a former NBA player.
But that's kind of my point, is that
But like,
don't we want to see the best? This would be my response. If we're gonna do this horse competition that doesn't include current NBA players, why not get somebody who's really good who doesn't even play in the WNBA or in the NBA? You know what I'm saying? Why not get somebody, a fan, or somebody who's a great shooter, or a celebrity who can play basketball? My point is, if we're gonna deviate from the NBA at all, the current NBA, I don't want to replace that with WNBA players. It doesn't make it as interesting for me. It'd be a lot more interesting if they grabbed a street ball guy who can shoot, or I don't know, a celebrity who's really good. Because again, it is just
But
horse.
at least there's a storyline here. Like, I don't care whether or not hot sauce is as good as, Trey Young. But at least there's a storyline of like, okay, the women are gonna be like, to me, again, when we're talking about like missing the mark, I just think all sports content at this point is good sports content. Like, give it to me.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying I think you're not maximizing again the potential.
But it's like the dunk contest. Even when the NBA is like, if this competition could be Steph and Clay and Trey Young and JJ Redick and Kyle Korver, then it would be, right? Like, I would assume that they've tried to get all their best shooters, and some of these guys are like, nah, I'm not interested. Like, if the NBA horse competition doesn't include Steph Curry, I'm assuming it's because Steph Curry turned them down and not because they didn't ask Steph Curry. Correct?
Maybe. I just you do you see where I'm coming from?
I just don't feel like they're going with like Ella Della Donna or whatever her name is.
But you see where
Steph.
You see where I'm coming from, right? I feel like they are trying to just push this, like, we're including everybody. We're going to have a transgender horse that's going to be competing in a game of horse.
I just think horse is boring in general.
I agree.
And again, I'll watch it maybe once, but to me, it's far more interesting. They've been doing this esports, like players playing each other. Like, why aren't we having like a 16-person one-on-one tournament?
I don't know.
All these guys, I mean, Kevin Durant already had it or whatever, right? Like, Kevin Durant's got the antibodies. Like, let's get Kevin Durant out there in a one-on-one game.
Is he even healed, though?
It was weeks ago.
No, I'm talking about his knee.
Oh, yeah, he's been playing. He's been shooting. He was like saying they were talking that he might even be back if they were a playoff team. Whatever. You know my point. Whoever are these guys, Donovan Mitchell had it and is now fine. Like,
yeah.
Get Donovan Mitchell out there.
Yeah. No, I know. I just, again, I don't know. I don't think they're maximizing what they could. I did see something on our Reddit which made me laugh. Can the NBA players, is this illegal in horse, just do crazy dunks, which would then just basically force the WNBA players out of the game? Like,
yeah, I mean, Trey Young and Chris Paul aren't dunking.
But if Zach LaVine wants to do some insane dunk, and I saw they tweeted back and forth about that.
Well, if they dunk, couldn't the girl just do a jump shot from where he took off?
I don't know.
Or do you have to just completely do the dunk?
I mean, I feel like horses are shooting because wouldn't Zach LaVine just win then? Zach LaVine's like, go up, go through your legs, and dunk it. Chris Paul's like, for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shooting game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have zero faith the NBA is going to finish, though. It sucks. It really sucks.
And, Tug and I were talking about this on the phone the other day. Like, overall in sports, in the world, who is benefiting from coronavirus and who is not benefiting, and who's getting the least benefit from the quarantine. And, we were in agreement. Like, some of these guys whose windows are closing, some of these guys who are getting older, I mean, LeBron James, for example, like, this is setting LeBron James back in the all-time scoring title. This is setting LeBron James back in another shot at a finals appearance, at a championship.
Oh, yeah.
Giannis was on his way to a second straight MVP. Obviously the Kevin Durants of the world and the Joe Pranos of the world, guys recovering from major injuries.
Did you just put yourself in the same category?
Yeah, we're both internet trolls. We're both recovering from major injuries. One of us is a little cuck bitch.
Do you think they'll still do awards?
Probably, right? The NBA will probably do that shit, but like
they gave the Wooden Award yesterday, I believe.
But I'm talking
Did they?
NBA.
Yeah.
Well, basketball, at least they finished the regular season
in
for
college basketball.
For college basketball. So you can give out awards. I mean, it really hurts LeBron. They were coming off beating the Bucks and Clippers. 2 huge wins.
Again, my initial thing was a break. 6 weeks off from the NBA. Incredible for LeBron.
Incredible for Kawhi, too.
Yeah, although Kawhi is like fucking fine and just does this weird, like, I'm going to sit every back-to-back game anyway thing. But 6 weeks off, great for LeBron. But if they don't come back, I mean, that's huge. It's a season where, I mean, obviously he went to, what was it, 8 straight finals with, the Heat and the Cavs. Then he has his one like full-on rebuild first year with the Lakers. He gets hurt. They're bad. Second year, Anthony Davis is like, we're going right back to LeBron. And LeBron was dominating. I mean, we're talking about, there was talk of like LeBron in the MVP conversation.
Does Anthony Davis come back now? Because wasn't his just a one-year deal?
Yeah, and he refused to re-up. I think he just wants to test the market, right? But this whole thing has got to be, it's got to change the finances of that, and when they start next year and all.
Speaking of finances, the players will get their next paycheck. They get paid, I believe, the 15th and the 1st. And I think I saw, if I read this correctly, they're going to get their next paycheck on the 15th. But after that, they're not sure how that's going to play out with NBA players. And what else is interesting is I saw it was Jay Williams and who was it? Why am I forgetting this? He was on Jay Williams. Maybe he was on an ESPN show or one of Jay Williams' podcasts. I don't know. Maybe you can look this up for me, Nick, please.
An NBA player?
Yeah, it was an NBA player saying a lot of guys are living paycheck to paycheck,
which is wild.
And he justified it by saying there's a lot of guys making the minimum. I believe the minimum is still $500,000.
Right.
And a lot of guys just don't prepare for something like this. And to me, it's like, guys.
That's stupid because if you're making the minimum, if you're a minimum salaried NBA player, you're on the verge of being out of the league at any moment anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just reckless.
Yeah.
That's just bad planning. Now, I guess I could understand a little bit if you were living paycheck to paycheck, if you're like a borderline guy, like you're a 9th, 10th man on a team and you're making $1 million a year, just in terms of like expenses and all the, not actually paycheck to paycheck, but going like every time a paycheck comes in, I've got this to pay and this to pay and this to pay, and missing a couple of those, I'm going to have to adjust my lifestyle if I'm not getting my paycheck.
It's your boy, CJ McCollum, was said
of course
third.
One
third of NBA players.
It was a third. He said this
because CJ McCollum is basically a journalist at this point, a fellow Lehigh University journalism school graduate, now the most famous Lehigh University journalism school graduate, my boy CJ. Of course he's the guy with this information.
His quote is this: I would say out of 450 players, 150 probably are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. Can you look up what the minimum is, Nick? I wonder what the minimum NBA salary is. I think it's around $500,000.
Yeah, I'm sure that's about right.
But again, this goes back to what these guys do. And obviously, I've never had that amount of money, and I was privileged how I grew up, and I didn't have to worry about anything. And a lot of these guys come from different backgrounds.
But when you say that, you have to consider the fact that your privilege was your dad making, and I don't know what your dad made, but your dad making somewhere in the realm of the NBA minimum and raising 5 kids and a wife and having a house.
And private schools.
Yeah, and private schools. Like, that's just being competent with your money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy because obviously I talked about how I just watched the Michael Vick 30 for 30 and how Michael Vick, of course, notoriously went bankrupt. And it's the same thing. Like, don't put a whole crew on your payroll.
Yeah.
And that was Vick's problem. Vick literally had guys who did nothing. He just threw them cash. And if this is true, and obviously CJ is just tossing out a number, but it's pretty insane. What's the minimum at the NBA?
So it depends on how many years of experience you have for each. But so if you have no years of experience, this is saying that the minimum is around $900,000 for a salary. 1 year experience is already jumping up to $1.4 million.
Wow. So I was way off. So it was almost double.
And then it goes up. I mean, 2 years experience, 1.6. You go all the way to 7 years, it's $2 million.
See, again, this is why you just do everything straight cash, homie. I know I had some dissenters in this. You just pay for that car, straight cash. You don't got to worry about it. You pay for that house,
Well, if
straight
you're a
cash.
millionaire, why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm saying. Everything, straight cash.
And these minimums are going up in the next couple of years. So by 2023, the minimum for a rookie would be $1 million.
Crazy, man. Crazy times that we live in. That these dudes are hurting for cash. Now, baseball seems like they're moving the needle a little, Prano, towards coming back.
It seems like there was a lot of talk about how this was going to be possible. Would they play some sort of satellite thing? Then we talked about it on an episode. And then, randomly, Major League Baseball decided to go with how Joe Prano saves baseball. I mean, I'm not saying I should be the commissioner, but what the fuck is happening?
This guy to my left.
But I mean, is this not exactly what I said? Put all the teams in Arizona?
Yeah.
Is that what I said on this show? A week before they decided to put the teams in Arizona?
Well, they're talking about putting all the teams in Arizona.
Yep.
There's more than enough fields.
Yeah.
Between the spring training.
I said that.
And also they said they would do, multiple games a day at Chase Field.
Yep.
Because the Diamondbacks field, which is great, it's not natural grass anymore.
Right.
So multiple games is not a problem.
Right.
And also, not even just spring training facilities. There's Arizona State, Grand Canyon University. I was looking; they have all these different sites.
Yeah, but I mean, even the minor league sites. I mean, there's ballparks for. I mean, half of the league plays their spring training games out there, and then just like I said, even within those complexes, there's usually 5-6 fields.
Yeah.
To a complex. Each of those, there's got to be 12 complexes there.
Yeah. So they're talking about possibly doing.
And when you say they, you mean we. We were talking about. Now they are talking about. They're talking about the Joe Prano plan to save baseball.
They're looking at maybe the teams and team personnel getting together in May, doing 2 weeks of spring training, which, again, they already did a lot of spring training. I don't understand. Why do they need...
you can't just go off the couch and play baseball.
You can't?
I mean, these guys, the live pitching is something that you need to 2 weeks. Okay, maybe that's a bit much or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable to go. Everybody's got to get an opportunity to face live batters, to face live pitching, whatever, because, again, this is money. And there's careers on the line. I would think that a lot of GMs, a lot of scouts, a lot of people would be considering the fact that this is a different than usual situation. But, again, come arbitration, come whatever, the idea of some guy just off the couch having to hit, it's a lot to ask.
Yeah. Well, I think a feasible, more realistic time frame from what I'm seeing is a season, if they went this route, June.
Which is scary for me because I don't know if you know anything about the New York Mets, but the deal is the New York Mets do not win baseball games in June. So, of course, that's our luck. We're going to start the season June 1. Mets are going to be 0-25, and they'll still miss the playoffs by 3 games because they'll be the best team in baseball after their 0-25 start.
Yeah. If they went this route, it would make me wonder how long they do this. How many months do they play in Arizona before they say, hey, we're going back to our own parks?
Well, I'm assuming that this is we're going to play a season here with the idea that we can do this indefinitely until everybody gets the green light to get back to life as normal.
Yeah. It's kind of a tease for us if this happens.
Yeah.
Because we're so close to Arizona, but we couldn't go to any games.
Right.
So it'd be a big tease.
But we could pull the 1986 Mets World Series. We could skydive into a ballpark.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
You like that idea?
I love that idea.
You ever skydived?
No. Have you?
No. Bilbo?
No.
Would you? Okay. Of the three of us, I am terrified of doing this.
Oh,
but,
me too.
But I've always wanted to do it
Yeah.
because of that. Face my fears.
I would do it.
You would do it?
Yeah.
Are you eating cheese sticks on the way down?
That's the only way I'm getting down.
The cheese stick?
Yeah, you put a cheese stick at the bottom.
I feel
on
like
the ground.
I feel like Bilbo needs like 2 GoPros on. He needs to like shoot the whole thing, Edward GoPro hands.
Well, Joe, if they do start the season in June and they eventually let fans back at the games in Arizona, wouldn't it be really nice to just sit in that sunny desert sun?
Sunny desert sun.
Very,
Yeah.
very repetitive. Drinking a fresh, cold Miller Lite.
Fresh cold in the sunny sunburned sun of Arizona. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, if they bring back baseball in Arizona, I'm going to find a way to get employed by a team. Maybe as just some sort of, spotter or something like that, just so I can be in the ballpark. I'll bring my own Miller Lights, crack them open in that sunny Arizona sun, and have the world's best and the very first, the original light beer. My favorite beer, Miller Lite.
That's right.
Every time we do this, it warms my heart.
It really does. Such a classical beer. And Bilbo, just so you know, we're going to be
It's like
practicing
the Mozart of beers. It's classical.
we're going to be practicing social distancing, but we look forward to having Zoom conference calls with you in Michigan, drinking Miller Lights apart from each other.
Yeah.
Something we can all look forward
Social
to.
distance happy hour.
That's right, guys. Miller Lite, the original light beer. While you're home, enjoy a classic. Available for delivery today. So check that out. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Andy, I'm not gonna lie. You know what we should do?
What's that?
We should do a dirty sports happy hour. The requirement is that you're holding a Miller Lite.
I like it.
We'll do a Zoom happy hour.
Everybody from their own spot.
Everybody from their own spot. As many dirt balls as we can get on Zoom with Miller Lights. I mean, imagine the picture. All of us holding up Miller Lights simultaneously. 30 people on Zoom.
Across the country.
Across the globe.
Across the globe.
Yes.
Great idea.
Since we have listeners from all over.
If you're interested in getting involved in a dirty sports happy hour with Miller Lite, first of all, go get yourself a Miller Lite or get it delivered. Many places that you can get Miller Lite delivered these days. Get some bottles or cans delivered, and then slide into Nick's DMs and let him know that you want to be involved in the dirty sports happy hour. First come, first serve.
Yeah.
The only person not invited, Andy Ruther. Because unless you're going to hold a Miller Lite, drink a Miller Lite. It's Miller Lite. That's the key to admission, Andy.
Of course.
Oh, well, here we
Of
go.
course I will.
Let's go.
I like that idea. I know Tug has been pushing a happy hour.
Tug's invited.
Yeah.
Everybody with the Miller Lite's invited. Up to as many people as Zoom can hold.
So pretty much you send a photo of you with the Miller Lite, then you get the room code? Is that how we're doing
Exactly.
Is that how Zoom works? There's a room code?
this? Room code.
Nick, I'm going to put you in charge of this post episode today. You got to figure out how many people are in Zoom.
Let me
You got to get
download Zoom.
you got to get our guest list. You got a mustache that screams guest list at a club. You on the list?
All right, yeah, so find the DMs, Nick Dale.
Oh, yeah, we would have to do this soon because Nick is about to venture off into that satellite internet.
That's right.
Poor Dale. NFL story that I want to cover, which is kind of ridiculous, and I don't even know if it's true. Chris Johnson is being investigated, or at least according to TMZ, is accused of a murder for hire plot.
Yeah, I saw the headline. I saw your Photoshop of Chris Exotic.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But not my Photoshop. My idea, thanks to Jay Lloyd,
Right.
the Photoshop guru.
And so what are the actual details of this murder for hire plot?
I mean, it seems pretty vague. Johnson has not been charged with anything, and TMZ.com doesn't explain the nature, type, or context of the court documents containing the allegations. It traces back to March 2015. Johnson was shot in the shoulder, allegedly for a gang-related effort to kill him. And then in two separate incidents the next year, two men were shot and killed by this guy, Dominic Bowden, who apparently claims Johnson paid him to kill the two men.
Okay.
No charges filed. And
See, this is why athletes are living paycheck to paycheck, because they're spending their money on murders. Stop spending your money on murders. Put that in the bank.
yeah. Good luck catching him. That's all I'm saying to the cops. That guy could run. Good luck catching Chris Johnson if you're trying to arrest him. Fun fact about Chris Johnson, he is only one of 7 players in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season.
I mean, he was good for he had a short but exciting window.
Okay, we'll have Nick look this up, and you and I will try to put together. So 7 players have rushed for 2,000 or more yards in a season. All right. Can I go first?
Sure.
So Chris Johnson,
Yep.
Adrian Peterson,
Yep.
Eric Dickerson.
Yep. OJ.
OJ. So we're at 4.
Barry Sanders.
No, I don't think he ever did.
Yep, he did.
He did.
Barry did.
So Barry, we're at 5. Who were the other 2?
There's got to be somebody that was somewhat recent.
2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have so far? Repeat your 5.
OJ, Chris Johnson,
By the way, I think OJ did it in 14 games.
Barry Sanders, Eric
Dickerson.
Dickerson, Adrian Peterson.
Okay, yeah.
Did Priest Holmes? Did somebody from one of those Ravens teams?
Nope.
He didn't play on.
Oh, someone from a Ravens team.
Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
That's who I meant, not
Yeah.
Priest Holmes.
Jamal Lewis is the 6th. There's one more.
And is the one more fairly recent?
90s.
Wow.
Late 90s.
Emmitt Smith.
Nope.
Wow.
Thurman Thomas.
Nope.
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
Terrell Davis.
Yes, you got it.
Oh, yeah.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Bronco.
Not too bad. I think we did all right in that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Only 7 guys have done it. Absolutely nuts. Should I tell the Mildred story before we get to some dirtball calls?
Well, we were just talking about OJ and stabbings and
It's a good segue.
murder for hire plots. Seems like a perfect time to go with this week's Mildred disaster update.
This is last Friday.
Last Friday.
So
Set the scene. Last Friday, exterior, Savagetown Apartments,
I'm cooking
15 Mildred Avenue.
a fuckboy scramble.
Okay.
I hear a lot of screaming because you can hear
I can hear the eggs crack, the scramble crackling.
you can hear the street because it echoes, right? And I'm hearing screaming, and I'm hearing somebody saying, "That's my bike. That's my bike. Give me my bike."
Give me my goddamn bike.
Lots of yelling back and forth. And then I go to my window, and I see one of my neighbors who lives on the other side of the building who I'm friends with walking very quickly up the gate. So just so everybody knows, I am
Doing a radio play.
I love this. There's 2 stories to my garage, and I park on the top, and you have to go up a hill, and this is the outdoor portion, and I see him walking up there, and I see a very jacked African-American gentleman chasing after him. No shirt.
Come on back here now.
No shirt. He looks like Debo from Friday, and he's saying, "Hit me again with that golf club," and something along the lines, "Every time you hit me, my dick gets hard."
Wow. That is a weird
Yeah.
fetish.
He said, "Hey, pussy, bring it back." And I see my neighbor has a golf club in his hand,
Okay.
and he's, which looks like going back to his apartment. At this point, many tenants from Savagetown have filtered out onto the parking lot. My maintenance guy yells at Debo and tells him to go back. I go to see the scene. At this point, the fuckboy scramble has been put on hold. I have to see what's happening here. I go on top of the garage. The cops at this point have arrived. I peer over the top because I'm looking down into the ground.
I feel like what maybe something you have to do before Nick leaves is have Nick do like still video shots of like all of Savagetown. We maybe lay out a blueprint so people know people can imagine all the things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You on top of your garage.
So I'm on top of the garage, but again, this is open. I'm looking down on the street because I'm a story above, and Debo points to me. He goes, "That's the guy. That's the guy who hit me with the golf club." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then the cop starts talking to me, and I lose it. And I said, "You guys don't do shit. These people cause problems all the time." And she said, Sir, you need to get away from this situation because you're going to make it worse." And I'm like dropping lots of F-bombs, yelling at the cops because they don't do anything. And I'm sick of this, and I can't sleep because Bilbo and I have been having trouble sleeping because the crackheads are too loud. So all this back and forth is happening. I'm angry. I text the guy who had the golf club, and here's what happened. Apparently, somebody had stolen his bike on Mildred months ago. He confronted that person. He had video evidence that they had stolen the bike. Debo is the protector of the street. I'm not making this up. His name is, God, what is it?
You know his name.
He goes by something.
Tim.
No.
John. Jackson.
I can find his name. I know he has
Randall.
No, he's got a nickname. What is it? It is
Blender.
I forget his name.
Microwave.
Something like that. Anyway, apparently he goes after the dude who lives in my building, and the dude in my building had a golf club because he was just protecting himself because he knew he was dealing with Mildred.
Yeah.
And he says, "If you get close to me, I'm going to hit you." He swings twice at this guy into the ribs with a golf club.
I took a mulligan.
In the words of Ludacris, coming out swinging like Tiger Woods' wife.
Didn't even phase him. That's how jacked this dude is, and also probably on PCP. Didn't even phase him. And here's the kicker. The dude in my building, the cops show up. They go to his apartment. Then the next day, they show up again. I actually let the cops in. I just got done with the run. The dude in my building is charged with a first-degree assault with assault with a deadly weapon. He was booked. A mugshot was taken and everything. So let me recap this. The dude in my building who had his bike stolen from a Mildred crackhead, who then confronted a crackhead, the Gestapo of the street, or whatever you want to call him, the enforcer of the street, goes after the dude, and he said, "I'm going to hit you if you come at me." He hits him, protecting himself, obviously 6 feet rule too, especially with the crackhead. He is now charged with assault with a deadly weapon, a first-degree felony.
I mean, I hate the quality of life gang in the Midwest are like, "This is California, all you liberals protecting the homeless."
Yeah.
But also ridiculous.
And also, they're right in that assumption.
Yeah. No, it is wild. But, I mean, your boy, he probably shouldn't have gone out there with a golf club.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's ridiculous. What he should have done is he should have gone out there with an entire golf bag, said he was golfing, and then when the guy came at him and he hit him with a golf club, he's like, "Hey, this guy approached me." Going out there with a weapon. So you got to think these things through.
Now, what kind of club was this? We're talking an iron, a driver, a hybrid?
I think it was a driver.
Interesting choice.
I'm not sure, though. I actually have no clue. I'm just guessing.
I would have brought an iron, personally. But
Yeah.
Like a very low angle, like a 3-iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's being charged with a first-degree felony is wild.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, I hope he comes out of this okay. I hope he's found not guilty.
He doesn't seem too concerned.
Yeah.
There's literally video evidence of the
guy stealing his bike.
No, and also of, again, a different guy stole his bike. Of this guy approaching him, apparently of him holding it up, you can see him saying something like, "Get away, get away." You can't just attack people.
Right.
Like, if I'm holding a bat and I tell somebody to get away and you attack me, I would think legally I can swing that bat at you.
Yeah.
If I've warned you.
I have no idea. No idea the laws.
6 feet rule, too.
Yeah. That should be factored in. Coronavirus. I was just out here. I was using this. My arm plus this golf club is 6 feet. I use it to social distance.
Yeah. But I yelled at people yesterday about that.
Yeah?
I yelled at them. Yeah. I was running, and they just were standing in the middle of the sidewalk, and I gave a big heads up, "Coming through," and they stood there, and I yelled, "Coming through, social distancing, get out of the way." Yeah, I used it.
And did people move?
And they finally moved, and they looked at me like I was a weirdo. But the truth is, I don't run near people. If I'm coming
Why
up,
are you running on the sidewalk? You don't run street side? Like you don't run like on the edge of the street or anything like that?
Yeah, but in this case, there was cars, and I had to run on the sidewalk. and they had a full grassy area. Normally, what I've realized during the coronavirus stuff is normally one person gets out of the way. People are usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Either I'll run on the grass, or people will just move to the grass or an area to just, do the whole social distancing thing. But these people didn't. They were being sidewalk hoggers, and now is not the time to do that.
Yeah.
Not during the Rona.
You're committed to still running through the virus.
I am. I'm actually running more than I've run in months. I'm going to run today again in the rain. My goal is to get near 200 miles this month.
It's a weird Andy Ruther. It's another one of the weird Andy Ruther ticks where he's like, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a lot.
Well, this is my goal. By the time this whole thing ends, I want to be ready, locked and loaded to do at least a half marathon. That's all I have, man. Bilbo's leaving me. I'll be here by myself.
I mean, I think when this whole thing ends, you should put on your best, Forrest Gump outfit and just run to Bilbo. Run back into his arms in Grand Rapids. Go see your son. Run with 2 cheese sticks across the country.
There you go.
Pass them to him like it's a baton in a relay race.
Meet you at Green Lake.
I just started running. What's Green Lake?
I like that your Forrest Gump is Sling Blade. I was running. Run.
It's just my neighborhood lake. We can kayak.
We can kayak?
Yeah, we can kayak.
Well, why don't we set up the new Dirty Sports
Compound in Grand Rapids?
No, but you're not Grand Rapids. Where are you technically?
Caledonia.
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 Yeah.
Is that an Italian name?
Nope.
Spanish?
I don't know.
It's
Definitely not Italian.
It's one or the other, right?
I don't think so.
Caledonia.
No.
I don't think if you say it like that, it makes it.
Caledonia. Caledonia.
I think Caledonia was a place originally. I think it's one of the. Wasn't Caledonia like a Prussia, like a sense became something else, sort of thing?
I don't know.
It's Latin.
Oh, it's Latin. You guys want to get the
Name
calls?
given by the Romans, the land north of the Providence.
See, I mean, I don't have all the
Britannia.
information, but I've got some of it.
Roughly corresponding to modern-day Scotland.
See,
Joe Prano.
You guys want to do some dirtball calls?
Again, I'm impressed at myself just to have a general idea of what the fuck I'm talking about.
Joe's really patting himself on the back this episode.
I mean, I failed many history class in my day. I am not. I never enjoyed history. I'm just super proud of myself that I retained even close to the right information.
By the way, I'm watching World War II in color on Netflix. It's really good. I'm through 2 episodes.
That's the kind of shit I wouldn't watch with a gun to my head.
Why?
Historical shit just bores me.
It's fascinating to see, the thought that Hitler, and people might laugh.
I've heard of him.
I guess I didn't know this. The fact that he basically marched right into France that easily, I didn't even know, because I haven't read enough on World War II. I knew he marched, and I knew that they didn't put up a fight because they didn't want Paris destroyed because of the history and the architecture, and they just let them come through. But I mean, it's wild. Like to think that's not that long ago. I don't know, man.
Hitler into France is like Nick to the fridge at 4 a.m. He's like, I'm here.
Nothing is stopping me.
I'm here for the cheese. I want the cheese.
You just compared a guy who wanted global Aryan domination to a 23-year-old kid who wanted a slice of cheese.
He wouldn't be stopped. And France is full of cheese. I'm here for the cheese.
All right, let's get to dirtball calls.
Hey, Joe and Andy. This is Julio from Jacksonville, Florida, longtime listener, first-time caller. With the recent release of the new Falcons and Bucks jerseys, I just wanted to hear your opinions on those, as well as I wanted to ask, what has been your favorite color rush or throwback jersey that any team has worn in the last, say, 5 to 10 years or so? That's basically it. Stay dirty.
I feel like people are bored I feel like the Bucks and Falcons jerseys have gotten unnecessarily roasted. Like people are like, oh, look at this. Like I think both are fine. I mean, the Bucks alarm clock jerseys that they've been wearing for the last 5 years, horrific.
Yeah.
The idea that the Bucks very obviously should have embraced the retro style that every fashion,
The creamsicle.
sports, but just everybody's going throwback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just go full creamsicle.
Just go fullback. You had a great uniform, and for them to dial it back just to like a less lame version of their uniform, it's not terrible, but it's just like uninspiring.
Well, they basically went back to when they won the Super Bowl.
Right. And I like them better than the current ones, and I saw that they were getting especially roasted for having like a concrete gray option, which I think was cool. I liked it. There's so much color in that the orangish red that they wear and the pirate thing. Like, yeah, get a little gray going for an alternate. I'm fine with it. The Falcons jerseys. Again, it was like,
What's the big alteration with the Falcons?
I don't know. They just
There's
went
a gradient on one of them
Yeah.
now. So it kind of like changes colors up and down, which is a total miss on my end. I don't mind the solid color jersey
Yeah.
Falcons, but you can't have a gradient on a jersey. in
And I think the
2020.
use of the ATL is strong.
I like
you
that.
gotta embrace. People just refer to the city as the ATL. So embracing that as part of your thing, I was fine with it. I said yesterday on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Dirty Sports, that I found it hilarious that the Carolina Panthers official Twitter account was roasting the Falcons like the Panthers don't have the dumbest uniforms in the league. I hate the Panthers uniforms, and I've always hated them. You've got a Carolina blue, and you barely use it. It's just trimming things. And then you're going with like some video game looking helmet that's basically like a Patriots knockoff helmet.
Well, back to the Falcons. I like the Deion Sanders ones.
Yeah, sure.
Remember when they had the red?
Of course. I think that they're both fine, but neither of them are great. And to answer his question, I think that there's just some obvious, like, great throwbacks that we've seen and great color rushes that we've seen in the last few years. I love the powder blue Chargers. Just fantastic. The idea that the Chargers not only have used those as color rush, but have also basically embraced that as their uniform now is a perfect example of like, yeah, you had awesome uniforms. Why'd you go with navy? Every team in the world uses navy. Go back to that. The Rams going back to the yellow and blue, so much better than like the gold and the navy and the white. The other ones I really like. I'm thinking of like the sort of color rush alternates. I love the Giants going with the Giants stripe and the all whites.
I'll tell you what, man. I've always loved the Raiders jerseys.
Yeah, the Raiders jerseys don't have to
They don't have to mess with it.
mess with anything.
It's
Yeah,
classic.
no, the Raiders uniforms are great.
The black.
Yeah.
I've always liked the Steelers. It's a classic. I think that I'll be honest. I think, and I know they're obviously the team, America's team, whatever you want to call it. I think the Cowboys is kind of lame with their star.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been making this thing for years. I don't know if you noticed, their pants are basically green
Yeah.
because they were trying to have silver pants, but silver didn't come through as silver like when they came up with it in like the 70s on television, the way the broadcast was. So they went with like a weird green color to make it look like silver on TV, and now they just have green pants. And I mean, some of the worst, like I feel like the Dolphins uniforms have always been fantastic, and then they tried to update them and make them like modern, and you're like, dude, why would you mess with it? It was great. The Jets missed hard on their update. So easy to have gone back to a classic Jets look. They missed. In fact, I didn't hate the Jets look that they had prior to the new one. I don't know why they felt like they need to go back to an era that was when the uniforms were worse. I think I just like the classic uniforms. I like the Packers. I wish the Niners would go back a little bit even more to like a Joe Montana era.
Yeah. All right, let's get to another call.
Hey, Dirty Sports. This is McKay Parker from Houston, Texas. And I just have a question for both Joe and Andy. You might have answered this a long time ago, but if you had a job for a sports team, what would that job be? What would be the pros and cons? Because I used to work for a baseball team in their warehouse. And my job would personally be the merchandise, the head of merchandise. Like, you get to see the pros of you get to see the jerseys, and you get to see all the new equipment from Nike, etc. The cons would be you have to be at every single game in the merchandise area, and some nights you just want to not be at the game. But anyway, Nick and Joe, I've enjoyed some of your music on Spotify, and I hope you get through this coronavirus, and have a great day. Bye.
Wow.
That's McKay. We met him. He got us those tickets for the Astros.
No, I remember. Fantastic Astros seats. And I believe he even had family who worked at the Astros. So this is near and dear to his heart. What job would you have? He was talking about merchandising. Obviously, I was friends with the guy who was the equipment manager for the Giants for a long time. That's a pretty great gig too. Same thing. He was like working hand in hand with like Nike and all the brands to like come up with designs for the team, how they're going to look. But then there's also a lot of like screwing in face masks and changing cleats out and stuff like that. I mean, to me, obviously, I would love to be the president of basketball operations for a team, not the GM. Just I want to craft the overall like basketball persona of the team. Like Jerry West seems like he's got the greatest gig in sports.
What's the
Jerry
difference?
West doesn't even leave his house.
What's the difference between president of operations and GM?
GM is like making the trades, scouting guys. He's like got to be in charge of the scouts. Got to be all that. President of basketball operations, like here's what we're gonna do. This is how we're changing the team. Like, look at what happened with the Clippers when Jerry West took over. He's like, hey, we're getting you're the GM. You're in charge of dealing Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and all these guys, but you have to do that. Like a talent brand manager almost. Like, truly, no one seems like they have a better job than like the Jerry Wests, the Pat Rileys of the world. What a great gig.
Yeah.
Baseball, too long a season, too many players. Football, way too many players. 52 guys on a roster. Baseball, too many players in an organization. Basketball, 15 guys. A culture. This is your job.
I want to be the hype man.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what do you?
I don't know.
Doesn't you want to be the mascot?
No, not the mascot.
Yeah.
Not the mascot.
Let's get Ruther in like one of those green suits.
Can I? Uh-oh, he's got the COVID. Let it out. Let out that COVID all over my couch. I think, don't teams have like a guy like, like Lakers fans?
Like an MC?
Yeah, let me be the MC.
What, like the guy who's like in a DJ booth? Like,
So you want to be the public address announcer?
Maybe. Here's the thing.
The public address announcer is the guy who's like a 3-point field goal.
The GM position would be fun, but it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work.
That's what I'm saying. I want to go above that. I want to tell the GM what to do.
Yeah. Can I just go to the games? Like, what can I do? I can just hang out with the players and go to the games. What's the easiest job?
Could be like a locker room guy, like a locker room attendant.
Yeah, like a water boy.
No, I don't want to be a water boy.
No, but like a locker room attendant, like a guy who just like goes in, makes sure,
Equipment manager.
Yeah, like you don't even have to be an equipment manager. You could just be like an assistant equipment manager. Just a guy who picks up towels and stuff like that.
No, I don't be picking up their towels. I just want to be the guy who like hangs out with the. Can I just be a guy who a hanger-outer?
Well, you could be like the fourth assistant on an NBA team. Those guys are basically nothing.
Yeah.
But then you got to travel on the road.
I want to be a guy who cuts jokes and stuff.
Be the team barber.
Aren't there like player therapists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be like the Reds yoga instructor or something like that. Be a good gig.
Oh.
Little therapy? No, I don't know yoga though. Guys, we got to find the easiest job that I fit. I like the job as the counselor. Now I'm not a psychiatrist.
Not a bad gig too. Like a sport. Like you could be a sports psychologist, but without the degree. Just be like, God, like I can't make free throws. Have you thought about just caring less?
Yeah.
Just let it rip.
Yeah.
Just let it fly, LeBron.
The Mentalist.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Isn't that a terrible CBS show? The Mentalist? I want to be Bones.
Bones.
Doesn't every team need a Columbo?
Don't you love how I want to just hang
The
out?
Mentalist.
I just want to hang out with the players and literally do no work. Somebody who cheers them up. Can I be the court jester? Like the class clown?
You'd be the guy who goes out there like getting the T-shirt gang ready, you know?
Michael
like-
says Ruther just wants to go out and yell like Steve Ballmer, essentially,
No,
but without being the owner.
No, because I wouldn't be a yeller. I want to be the guy who.
You're a non-yelling hype man?
But I'm relaxing the team. We're off the hype man thing. We're talking. I'm the guy who, like, in the locker room, it's all tense, and I'm like, "Do you guys watch Tiger King?" And then
That's not a position.
I'm creating one.
The Mentalist.
I get them mentally loose. I'm the mentalist. Yeah. I love this. Like, because I'm kind of in the psychology sphere or, like, that realm, but I'm more of just keeping them loose. And
I mean, that's usually
also-
like a guy on the team. That's like a locker room guy. That's like the
Yeah.
last guy on the bench.
Yeah.
They keep around because he's good for team chemistry.
yeah, that's me. Give me a uniform. You imagine me at the land of the Lakers bench?
Basically, you're Curtis Granderson on his last 4 teams. Like, yeah, you'll get in a bat every once in a while, but mostly you're here because we like you.
But I don't even want to go on the court.
Right.
And you don't even have to pay me the league minimum. Just give me 6 figures. I'll travel with the team.
Is that the going rate for team mentalists these days?
Yeah, give me about $150 a year, $200 a year.
Like, the price keeps going up.
I'm just saying, dude. LeBron needs a guy like me. These guys are all serious, and I can educate them on stuff. So when they pop off and say something ignorant, I'm like, no, man, that's not what's going on in China. I'm gonna hook them up with my guy Bressler. Like, I'm that guy. Like, I'm everything. I make them laugh. I'm informative to them. I relax
You
them.
just want to be Turtle for an NBA team?
That's basically it. But a little more sophisticated.
A little more sophisticated.
Like, I might wear a suit some days. I might be in
Wow,
sweats
look at
some
you.
days.
Business.
Anyway,
You never know what the Mentalist is going to show up in.
I'm really liking this idea, though. What else we got here? Let's see what else we got. Oh, this is a funny one.
Day 2. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in beautiful Venice Beach, California. Sitting next to my host, my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano. How you doing, Joe? Hello, Andy. That's Joe doing a Tug Coker impression. Just called up some movie reviews, man, whatever. I just wanted to lay down what I've been thinking about. I texted Joe earlier, but I haven't heard brought up that Andy's giving off some real Joe Exotic vibes from Tiger King. And, having Nick move in, it's a lot like Joe having Travis move in Tiger King. Andy, are you starting a cult? Do you need some big cats? You trying to get in that culture? Let me know. I'll join up.
All right, well, here's the deal. Joe Exotic.
Getting a little Joe Exotic Travis vibes between you and Nick.
No, I don't get this. You have to explain this one to me.
You didn't watch it,
I haven't seen it yet.
but you watched it.
Yes, of course. So Travis was Joe Exotic's second husband, who clearly was not gay, but basically Joe Exotic used to make gay, and he provided him meth.
Yeah, I mean Joe Exotic got it. You got to give the guy a lot of credit. He married multiple not gay dudes. I mean, meth is wild.
Wild. No, look, man, I'm not. The reason I'm not Joe Exotic, there's nothing sexual happening between me and Bilbo.
But you are giving him meth.
I am giving him meth,
He's
though.
providing me cheese sticks,
Yeah,
which is essentially my meth.
which is basically meth if you're from Michigan. It's Michigan meth.
I am not.
What is this, Wisconsin cheddar? I'll suck your dick.
If anyone's starting a cult between us, it's clearly Prano. Prano already has a very loyal legion.
I'm glad that you brought this up
Of
because,
dirtballs.
because Everybody's been asking about it. Everybody's been going like, what happened to the Pray No 2020 campaign? And I said, much like a tiger in the jungle, I have been laying in the weeds. I've been letting all of these people fight it out. I told you I would be back. Everybody goes, 2020? We're like 3 months into 2020. What's happening to the Pray No 20? I mean, I've gotten messages, and now it has happened. Now this battle of the bastards has occurred, and the only people left standing are literally dementia-riddled rapists. There's two men remain. The Ben Glebes of the world have gotten out. The Bernie Sanders of the world have gotten out. Elizabeth Warren out. Tulsi's out. Is Tulsi officially out? I don't know if she's officially out, but she should be. She's out. Everybody's out. The only people left, Biden, Trump, like ridiculous person who uses made-up words. Some guy who's still saying cockamamie and poppycock. They're literally both accused rapists. This is where we strike. Pray No 2020 is back. If you want Pray No 2020 stickers, slide into those DMs. We're taking donations for the campaign. Shout out to everybody who's already donating to Nick's return campaign. You want Pray No 2020 stickers? They're available on joeprano.com. We are kicking this presidential campaign into high gear. If you're not going to vote for a rapist this year, vote for me. That's the new slogan.
That's a good tagline.
Fix your life. Fix your life. Pray No in 2020. I might even redesign the sticker to just say, I'm not a rapist.
You really hijacked that call, huh?
Yeah. Well, you asked, and here we are. We're back.
Well,
the campaign has restarted.
I will put in one request for you, Nick. When you do head back, you need to watch Tiger King. They're about to drop a new episode next week, actually.
I'll get to it.
Okay. Let's make sure you do that. All right. CT was doing a Andy Ruther impression. We have a couple more. We have a couple impressions here.
Okay.
Hey, Joe and Andy. This is Matthew, the DirtBall from Cleveland, Ohio. And I am calling in to give my best rendition of Andy Ruther's Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. So let me know what you think. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano. Thank you so much. Have a great one, you guys. Stay dirty.
It's not bad, but it's more, you got to remember the welcome. It's more.
That's what I was just gonna say. No one's gotten down the
welcome.
It's welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host.
It's pretty. He was pretty good though. Just a little. I think the timing.
Strong finish.
Timing needs to be smoothed out a little. But a lot of people nervous to call the Dirty Sports Podcast.
But you know what? He leaves a spot on. Nick and I heard this. Now this is a spot on one.
Oh, is this the?
Yeah.
Is this the tug?
Yeah. Listen to
This is
this.
great.
Hey, fellows, this is Matthew from Cleveland. Once again, just called in. I didn't know how to tie it in since I can't do a Joe Prano yet, but I can do a pretty good Tug Coker. So here's my Hello Andy for Tug. Hello, Andy.
That's
All right.
That's
stay dirty
strong.
again.
It's pretty good.
That's strong.
It was really good.
We almost need him to call back. I'd love to hear. That's such a good Tug impression. I'd love to hear him like, I got this tweet here from to John at CBS Sports, little Tug Nug. Give us this Tug Nug impression.
Yeah.
I want credit where credit's due. This Tug Nug comes from. I love it.
Now here's another call that definitely tapped into something I had said to you probably about a month ago.
What's up, you guys? It's LaGoy calling from beautiful Oneida, New York, here in upstate. Just got done watching Shark Tank and just wondering what you guys think of Lori Greiner. Definitely smash. Definitely looks like a 7.4 most of the time. All right. Just wondering what you guys think. All right. Stay dirty, boys.
All right.
Bye.
You remember I said this when we watched Shark Tank about
You
last
said you
month.
wanted to smash.
Oh yeah.
Lori Greiner.
I'm like really attracted to Lori Greiner. One, because obviously she's smart, she's business savvy, And that
what is that? Obviously, because she's smart, she's business savvy.
That makes her
one of
more-
the first things I look for in a woman is their business savvy.
Well, it makes
her ability to get me on QVC.
It makes her more attractive.
Yeah.
I like women who have a good business sense, man. Independent women. I do, for real. So that makes her attractive. And like she's got that kind of little thicker, voluptuous body. And I'll just say it, guys. I bet she's great in bed. I said that to you a month ago. I'm like, yo, I was like, I totally would smash Lori. Like, I'm attracted to her. She's married. Sadly, I went through her Wikipedia.
You went and checked it out.
Oh, yeah. She's 50. Here's the thing about Lori. She's the type of woman who strikes me. She obviously is a very hard worker. She's amassed so much wealth. They only ever listed it, who knows if this is accurate, $100 million net wealth. But I think a type of woman like that gets down and dirty. Because she's busting ass all day, making deals. In the bedroom, she's like, let's do it.
I feel like Lori has trouble reaching her feet to the floor. She seems, in those big Shark Tank chairs, she seems very short to me. For that reason, I'm out.
Oh.
Could be wrong, but for that reason, I'm out.
Am I flying solo? Any comment from Bilbo over there?
I'm good on that. No.
All right, let's get to our last call then.
What's up, Dirty Sports? It's Joey from Minnesota. I live in Pittsburgh now, though. So my question today is about movies. You guys have been talking a lot about movies with all this quarantine bullshit lately. And I just feel like when I was younger, I used to love movies, and now I can't even sit through 10 minutes of some of these things. In fact, I would say most of them. There are movies like The Joker or Parasite or The Irishman. Like, those movies from this year I think have been great. I think 2019 was a great year for movies. But in general, I just feel like I hate them now. I'm wondering if you think that's a problem with me or a problem with movies. I don't know. Condoms are always for Aaron Rodgers. Fuck the Packers.
Oh, shots fired.
I think that this is a problem with the movie industry.
I agree.
As opposed to movies. I'm certain that there are movies being made that are still good. We just don't get to see them or know about them or hear about them because the movie industry has at this point realized that the way that they are better off spending $400 million making a movie, marketing a movie, all these big budget movies, and then making $500 million on the movie, in essence making $100 million, in profit, than they are taking a movie like that costs them nothing and promoting it and making like the biggest success rate you can have for like a small movie is like, oh, remember when like My Big Fat Greek Wedding back in the day made like $200 million? Like that's what an Avengers movies makes in the first weekend. It's all marketing. It's all, going for hella broad audiences. I'm sure that there's less and less movies getting made via the studios now that are, smart and funny and interesting because the profit's not there. I mean, The Joker is a great example. The Joker has nothing to do with Batman or the Joker at all. But it made a ton of money because it's called The Joker. They made Taxi Driver. They pretended it was about a comic book and called The Dan, about some guy named Dan who's kind of a lunatic. No one would have thought. Joaquin Phoenix wouldn't have been in it. Joaquin Phoenix wouldn't have gotten awards for it. Like, that's just how and honestly, that's what they're doing now. They're having to find a way to like sneak in.
Well, it's interesting. I know I don't know if I talked about this. I was talking to Nick about this. So I took an entertainment law class 10 years ago at UCLA Extension. And it was an interesting class because it was a mixture of actual lawyers who were not in entertainment law, who were maybe thinking about going into that route or learning more, and it was creative people. Like, that was the class. And my professor, who was an entertainment lawyer, you read a couple books and you talked about what the movie industry wants, and you nailed it. And that's what was so insightful of the class. They said, Prano, these studios are either going to make a very, very small budget indie film, or they're going to spend hundreds of millions. Like the middle film, the studio wants no part of.
Right.
The $30 to $40 million budget, they're going no. They're going, we'll do the $1 million budget,
Right.
or the $200 million,
Yeah.
because of exactly what you said. For some reason, it's way more risk to do the $40 million than it is the Avengers.
Because if $40 million movie doesn't do well, you lost $40 million.
Exactly.
If a $1 million movie doesn't do well, you lost $1 million. But any movie can blow up. It's never going to blow up to the size of a movie of a Star Wars or an Avengers or whatever like that, but neither is that middle ground one. So it's high risk, high reward, low risk, high reward. They don't want medium risk, medium reward.
Exactly.
And honestly, that's a shame, because honestly, the best movies of all time mostly fill in that spot, because what tends to happen, and I've been going through this on like I'm hard in on the Criterion Collection right now app. But for example, like a Wes Anderson, Wes Anderson makes like a Bottle Rocket, and that's not the movie that everybody knows him for, but he makes Bottle Rocket for nothing. That gets the attention of the movie industry. Now they give him tens of millions of dollars to make Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, all those movies that he made that are absolute classics. And now it's like, dude, unless you're going to, like, now it's make this gigantic movie or don't make anything.
Yeah, and I think that we're in such a period of oversaturation that I agree with the call. I find it tough to find stuff like you're saying that's good. And to me, it also shows we watch crap. Like if I go to my Netflix right now and I see the top 10 trends,
yeah,
a lot of it is garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what people are watching. They're watching garbage. And I always say this to Nick when we're like looking for stuff. It takes us a minute, but I'll take the time.
But that's also, it speaks to, again, the whole studio system and the way the industry is now. The idea of remakes and reboots and whatever. They basically don't want to they don't even want to deal with finding a new audience for something.
No.
They want to know an audience already exists and give that audience what they want. They will make a Star Wars movie about a character that once appeared in a Star Wars. They made an entire series that's a spin-off of one idea from one minor character in the Star Wars world. And they spent tens of millions of dollars to make The Mandalorian because they know the audience is there.
Yeah.
And that sucks, because the best ideas are new ideas.
Exactly.
For sure.
And let's not forget, it's a movie business. That's the one thing he would hammer home in class. He kept saying, guys,
it's not show fun.
Yeah.
It's show business.
It's all about the money and the bottom line, and that's what it is. And you take a movie like The Joker. I mean, I know it made over $1 billion. It made $1.072 billion.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
But it was a scam. It was the greatest scam in history. He made a character movie, but he called it Joker. It's like doing a movie about a kid whose mom isn't whatever, his mom isn't nice to him.
Guess what?
And then in high school, he goes through this weird trauma because he starts going bald faster than his friends, and that makes him super angry because he gets picked on for being the bald kid, and they call it Lex. It's a scam.
Guess what it cost?
$60 million.
Very good guess. The Joker's budget was $55 million.
Yeah.
You figured what? What are they putting into advertising?
Yeah.
What's an additional? Let's say $100 million.
Right.
It's probably way too high. But think about that. For Warner Brothers, let's say they spent $155 million on that movie. They made over $900 million.
Yeah.
Off one movie. One movie. That's what Warner Brothers made. I mean, it's crazy. It's entertainment business, show business.
Yeah. My advice to people out there is that, you said I'm a movie buff, which I actually, I think
you're good and you're knowledgeable.
I love watching movies. I watch movies all the time. I think, I've tried to do as best I can with watching the things that people say are good and watching all that stuff. But there are people who are so deep down that rabbit hole, and the filmmaker types and the whatever. But I will say, my one piece of advice is, I really try to work hard in seeing a lot of movies. You're never gonna see everything. Just like go back, like look at lists of movies or look at movies that you like, and look up similar things. Like look up also recommends, because there's a world of stuff out there that like you can go back now, especially with streaming. I mean, video stores are gone and all that, but now everything's available on one form or another, whether it be Amazon, Netflix, all the HBO, Showtime, Stars, Cinemax, all the streaming things, the Criterion Channel, or just like going into the libraries of iTunes and being able to rent a movie for $2.99. No late fees. You got it for 48 hours. You can watch anything. I promise you. While they're not making a ton of new great movies, there's plenty of old ones for you to watch.
Yeah. And I feel like we got a movie night coming, right?
Do we?
I mean, you're all about that Twitch, aren't you?
Is there a Twitch movie night?
As long as we start going on Twitch a little earlier and we get off a little bit quicker, maybe we can start doing some more movie nights. Yeah. We're getting really late starts.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a Twitch movie night, like you guys watching a movie. I don't know what the legality of that is,
I don't think it's legal.
Probably not.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah. But I'm probably good for, at this point in quarantine, I can probably do a couple movies a week. It's still just.
I'm literally on 2-3 a day.
That's just nuts for me.
It's a lot of movie watching.
Yeah.
2 or 3 a day.
I mean, yesterday was a light movie day. We did 1.5. But yeah, the days before that, it was 3 a day, for like 3 or 4 days.
Man.
2 to 3 hour movies. Watched The Player with Tim Robbins. Watched. I watched one of the worst movies ever. I think I said on Twitter, Head Full of Honey, which is a remake of a German movie that was supposed to be pretty good, and it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Nick Nolte playing a guy with Alzheimer's, real bad. I mean, Nick Nolte was fine, but the rest of the movie,
yeah,
trying to turn Alzheimer's into like slapstick comedy. Like, look, he can't remember things. He's pissing in the fridge, like this movie. What a wacky guy. He's crashed a car for the second time. Like, automobile accidents but with the elderly are not funny.
Yeah. If you guys have any recommendations, call us. 310-359-8365. That is the hotline, and we're not going anywhere. So let us know. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube and at twitch.tv/Dirty Sports.
Now, Andy, are you wrapping up the show here? Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because you had the Wimbledon thing on, which I thought was very interesting.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about that real quick.
Wimbledon, I mean, well played by Wimbledon.
So well played.
They've been paying $2 million into this like insurance fund for how long?
This is really fascinating. Darren Ravel tweeted this. Wimbledon has paid $2 million a year for pandemic insurance for the last 17 years.
Now, I've heard a lot of. So that's $34 million, basically. But, again, the real important thing is that it's just $2 million a year. I'm sure they make a ton of money. And I've read that, calling it pandemic insurance is a little bit specific. It probably covers a lot of different things that could undermine the entire tournament. Essentially, they were just worried that at some point this tournament could get canceled, and at any time just not having all of the money come from 1 year of the tournament could cripple them. So have insurance on that. And how much did they get paid out?
They will make $141 million from the policy.
Incredible. Well played. It's kind of amazing that we didn't hear about this from like NBA teams, MLB teams, like team specific going like, yeah, we had insurance just in case the season got canceled.
It really is interesting. And you're right. It's a small price to pay, $2 million a year. A return of $140 million on $34 million they spent. So they're still up $107 million.
Yeah. I don't know what Wimbledon makes per year for, whoever is behind it, but it's got to be.
Do you think? So I wonder. That's a good point. Teams could have done this
I mean, I imagine, right? If this sort of thing exists,
insurance policies.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, it is interesting. You can basically take out insurance policies on anything.
Yeah.
You see guys do it as college athletes in case they get hurt if they're projected to be like a top 5 pick. So it's always smart to have insurance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah. What's that joke?
You never mind. We'll talk about it after the show. You're not picking up my joke?
No.
It's always smart to have insurance?
No. What's the joke? You're talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, like my injury?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a bill in the mail, I told you, for $40,000. Can you imagine opening a bill and it says you owe $40,000, and it just had like check this box if you want to pay with your credit card and write your credit card number?
What?
Could you imagine? Who is this person? Who is this person that's like, yep, go ahead and process that through. Here's my PIN if you need it for $40,000.
And who has a who that's not rich has a $40,000 credit limit?
By the way, that wasn't even everything. That was just
walking into the hospital.
Basically, I mean, the surgery 40, but then like anesthesia, like they have their own billing department. X-rays have their own billing department.
Oh yeah, I remember after I got out of the hospital for the brain injury, I spent three days and 3 nights. That included an MRI, all the drugs. I remember now I had health insurance, but I remember if I had not had health insurance, my bill for 3 nights in the hospital and all the tests was like $36,000. I just remember thinking, like, how is this $36,000?
Yeah.
You gave me some drugs. You ran some tests on me. By the way, that was 6 years ago today.
Today?
I would be in the hospital.
Wow. That eye patch on.
With that eye patch on. 6 years ago today, I would be in the hospital. So I am very thankful I am here on a couch talking sports. So count your blessings.
I feel like the big Andy Ruther one-on-one interview. Like I feel like the Dent Report. I know the Dent Report is sort of on hiatus.
It's basically done.
But I feel like the Dent Report. What the Dent Report needs is a one-on-one interview with you and Eric Andre. Like I feel like he is like the number one. He would be the best guest on the Dent Report. Like this show exists, my life exists, everything. Because you had a birthday party, there was free booze. And my life changed.
He might have some insider info about what actually happened.
I think he was probably having sex with a donkey or some weird Eric Andre.
I don't really know Eric.
He was like, sorry, I was in the VIP lounge with a baboon.
I don't know Eric. Although, you remember it was probably just like 2 years ago when we played beach volleyball?
Yeah.
And remember when he came down?
Yeah.
I almost told him.
I can't believe you didn't.
Because did he come back to Savage Town?
I don't know. I didn't come back with him. With you guys,
because we went to the pool afterwards. I think he might have came back for a minute at the pool, and I almost told him like, "Yo, man, I don't really know you, but I know you because you're friends with Josh, and I went to your party and basically almost died."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that dude's a lunatic. So
I know, I love it.
All right, guys, that's the show. Follow us everywhere. Joe, you got anything?
At Joe Prano on Instagram, at Fix for Life on Twitter. Prano 2020. This is the official announcement that the campaign is getting shifted into third gear. We've been waiting. We've just been sort of idling, and here we are. We're gonna do it again. So if you want any merch, you can go to joeprano.com, or you can slide into my DMs, much like you did for the special back in the day. Well, we can mail you out some stuff. Any donation to the campaign will get you some campaign merch.
Nick Dale.
DirtBall, just want to take this time to thank you so much for welcoming me here with open arms. It's been a blast out here. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be able to do the things I've been able to do for the past couple of months living here, working with Andy. So thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking. Thanks for liking. Thanks for following. Doing everything the DirtBalls do so well. And, I'm going to miss it here, but I'm looking forward to going back and just being a regular old dirtball.
Well, we look forward to having you back. At the end of the day, again, this is a temporary hiatus And then Nick Dale's going to come back stronger than ever. Okay, Dirtballs, have a great week. Social distance, wash your hands, and most importantly, stay dirty.